Hi guys, I just wanted to make a short video. This is October, and October is the month that in 1997 I lost my dad to a heart attack, and it was the first day of October back in 1997, so it's been 21 years ago this month, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about my dad and tell what all he was to me, because not only was he my dad and a very good dad, and also he didn't have any experience at being a dad because his dad died when he was I think he said he was 5 years old when his dad died. So he didn't have a real good example to go by. He just had to figure it out as he went. My dad was a mechanic. Early on, I guess I was about, I don't know, 5 years old when he began, actually he started to be a minister shortly after that, when I was probably 6 years old. And he was a young man. He was probably about 26 or 27 when he started to be a minister. And so right away, he was put over a church. This was in Missouri, in a small town. It was called Malden, Missouri. He took a church at a very young age, and he pastored that church for, I want to say it was probably at least a year. It might have been a year and a half or 2 years. I don't recall exactly how long, but it was quite a few months. And from that point, they transferred him to, we went out to Arizona. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think the idea was that he was supposed to start a church out there. The organization, I don't know how they figured it, but they sent a young guy. I guess a young guy has a lot of zeal. And so we ended up staying in Phoenix, Arizona for just a few months. We actually lived in a motel while he went to work for I believe it was a Cadillac dealership. It was some dealership out there. I'm not sure if it was Cadillac, but he was mechanicing. And we ended up in Kingman, Arizona, and we probably stayed out there for about 2 years. And I was in the second grade when we moved out to Kingman, and then I was in the third grade. So we were there probably close to 2 years. And what was amazing to me to think back about it is this was a young man under 30 years old that had two kids. I had a sister, us 2 kids, and my mom and him. And he didn't have any kind of a guarantee of any kind out there. The church just sent him out there, and he went out there. He felt compelled to in his spirit. I'm sure he wouldn't have done it other than that. But he didn't have anybody guaranteeing him anything. And we didn't have money either. I mean, they sold all the furniture, everything. And we packed up from Missouri and moved to Arizona and stayed out there. Now, the church never did, as far as I know, never did pan out. I didn't quite, if I could ask him about it, I would, but he's been gone for so long I can't ask him anything. But sometimes it's come to my mind about, I wonder what that was all about. But what happened was they moved from Kingman, Arizona to where we are today. It's Palestine, Texas. And he reopened a church that had closed, and it's been open ever since. Now, the church in Palestine, he got it going pretty good. And I guess we were here, that was in the mid-60s then. We were probably here a couple of years, and they transferred him over to Powderly, Texas. And he pastored a church there for probably, I'm going to say it was about a year and a half over there. And from Powderly, Texas, he drove across the border to Hugo, Oklahoma, and got a job there. It was a Cadillac dealership in Hugo, Oklahoma. So he's always pastored and worked. He never did just have a church that he was able to pastor that he didn't have to work. I mean, mostly there were fairly small churches. I want to say around 60 members, somewhere in that neighborhood. And the Powderly church was going pretty good when he took it. and it was going about the same when we left. And they transferred him from Powderly, Texas, up to Willow City, North Dakota. We were up there probably pretty close to a couple of years. And I got to tell you, it just got so cold up there. That was the year of 1969. Actually, January of 1970, we left there. It was just so cold. And the economic situation, he couldn't find a job being a mechanic up there because it was a seasonal, I guess because of the wheat farmers and all. It was a seasonal industry, and the people that had lived there for so long are the ones that got to stay there and work. And outsiders, they really couldn't accommodate outsiders that well. And of course, he understood it. But I do know the one job he was able to get was during the summertime. He got this job, and back then it was going up a ladder with shingles over his shoulder. And I felt really bad because it was really hot in the summer. Even though it gets cold in the winter, it got really hot there in the summertime. But of course, he had a family, and he was going to do what he had to do. And the church just didn't provide enough. I mean, occasionally somebody would bring some groceries to us or something. But we ended up going out and hunting snowshoe rabbits, which is what's out there in that area. It's real close to Canada. We actually drove across into the Peace Gardens one day. It wasn't that far away, but we caught northern pike. That was a lot of fun to catch those things. There were big fish. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. But we ate those things, and man, they were good at first. But you know, when you've eaten about 20 of them, you kind of get tired of them. But you know, it's true that we struggled up there. My mom told me that she cried. You know, later she told me, I cried. We put you kids through. I said, yeah. I said, honestly, that was the funnest year of my life. I says, being in North Dakota, all that snow, and we had a 2-story house, and I had a bedroom upstairs, and my sister did too. And we had a lot of good memories there. And while it was tough, we didn't really go hungry. It's just that, I guess from a parent being responsible, you know, we were living right on the edge. And so they felt bad about it, that they felt like they put us kids through something. But honestly, we had so much fun there. It was great. But we finally left because for 2 reasons. One is my parents really were getting tired of the economic situation there, and then you know, it just got so cold. I remember one time though, my dad worked for a farmer. He went out there and worked on his truck in his barn, replacing the front end parts. And this guy traded us like a quarter of beef, and we hung it out in the church. The parsonage was a 2-story house, but it also had a detached garage. And we hung that beef up in the garage. It was so cold out there that it stayed frozen. And of course, I think he cut it all up and put some of it in the car seat too. We had an extra car. But anyway, these were just some memories I had. And my dad was a great guy. Everybody seemed to love him. We ended up moving back here to Texas. Us kids wanted to go back to Arizona because he had a really good job at a brake and front end shop. My dad was a real good front end alignment expert, and he did brakes. Saved quite a bit of money back in those days. Quite a bit of money. It was maybe $1,500. It'd be like maybe $10,000 now. But we were, you know, things were looking better. And but I thought, man, if we go back to Arizona, I'd get a mini bike. But anyway, this lady from the church, he had gotten started again in Palestine. This lady wrote him a letter, basically got him feeling really bad because she said it was starting to go the other way. And, I think they're trying to close our church. And so, Brother Davis, if you'd come back, I know you could get it going again. And so, you know, that just kind of pulled at his heart. And so we came back here. And but he rekindled that fire again. And it's been going, like I say, it never did close, but it's been going good ever since. And so, my dad, he and I, we both worked. When I got old enough to work, I went to work at the Ford dealer here in Palestine, where he was working. He was actually the manager at the time of the shop. He made more money being a mechanic, though. He ended up going back as a mechanic on the line. And I even ran that shop for a while when the other manager was sick for about 3 months. But that's where I started mechanicking. And then in 1981, we branched out into our own business, and we worked there together for 15 years, and that's when my dad died. And then, you know, I've been by myself since then. But he was, you know, he was my dad. He was, we were very close, and he was my best friend, and of course we worked together too. So, uh, that was a big loss for me at the time. For 6 months, I was, it was a tough thing for me, and different ones talked to me, along the way that helped. And uh, about a year later, I finally got to a point where that I could function pretty good. I mean, I was functioning everything. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, but it was really tough on me. But after a year, I began to accept it enough that I was able to. I don't know how to say it. I guess I got through the grieving process, and but what I was trying to remember to tell you that God gave me like 5 friends to take the place of my dad. Now it didn't. Nothing could take the place. Nobody could take the place of someone, but he did. He gave me 5 really close friends that you could really count on after my dad passed. That really helped me through it. And I've lost 2 of them right as of I'm speaking to you right now. There's only 3 left. Actually, one of them moved away, so right now I have 2 of them left that are actually convenient. One of them I can still call, but he moved away, and another one's due to move away at some point uh, up to a northern state. So, but what I'm saying is, it seems like that God just always provided for me, and in every way, He's always been there, and I just thought I'd share that with you guys, and so I appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.